So by the end of this webinar, you'll be able to understand problem and solution questions, and then we'll look at planning your essay using a simple structure, and then looking at different linking expressions you can use to develop your essay, and also introduce causes and suggest some solutions, okay? So first of all, we need to look at the question. So we need to see what the question is asking us to do. So obviously we need to read that. And then we need to identify each part of the question. How many parts does the question have? And then underline any key words. So if we look at that, what would you say the key words were in the question there? So what would you say are the key words in the question? Anyone like to tell me what the key words are in the question? Large cities, What else have we got? Waste hours, yeah. Traffic congestion, hours of their time. Okay, yeah, Bopong, good. Traffic congestion. Now, what about in the question keywords? Underneath the main prompt, what have we got? Yeah, okay, Elton, good. So let's have a look. So large cities here, waste hours, traffic congestion, and then causes and solutions. Okay, everyone, good, fantastic. I'm just actually going to put the light on because it's gone very dark in here. It's not, weather's not too good in the UK at the moment. Okay, so we've looked at the question, we've identified the different parts, underlined the key words, and we know what our task is. So now we have to decide on what your response is. Okay, so causes. So what do you think some of the causes could be? So what do you think could be some of the causes? Okay, unplanned roads, yeah. What else? Yeah, people moving from rural areas to cities. Elton, work timings of companies could be the same. Migration of people. Anything else? Bad roads, accidents, yeah. Road construction, bad public transport system, yeah. Unplanned urbanization, okay. So lack of public transport, and then many people have the same working schedule. Okay, what about some possible solutions then? What could we have as some possible solutions for this? Anything you can think of? Any possible solutions? More public transport, yeah. Provision of good roads, yeah. Planned office timings, yeah. Systematic public transportation, good, Gene. Not only more public transport, but organised, okay. Build more roads, good. Avoid using vehicles unless they're really necessary, okay, good. So invest in more public transport then, I think we would all agree. And then public facilities, so starting work at different times rather than the same time. Okay, very good. So we look at doing some planning now. So whenever you start, you must have a plan. So you don't just want to start writing without having a plan. So we look at putting together a simple structure. So we've got our introduction. So what do we need to do to the question? Can we just copy the question? Yeah, no, you can't just copy the question, so you need to paraphrase. Good. So we'll briefly explain why a problem is important. This is optional. And then what will we have at the end, the last sentence? What's that going to be? Our last sentence is going to be what? Something statement. Yeah, or in this case, we can say an outline statement. Okay, an outline statement. So body A, so we discussed some of the causes. So we will state not define, similar. Yeah, Clara, good. We'll explain the cause and then we'll describe negative what? Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, good. Okay, then we'll give what? Okay, Kritika, yeah. So we'll give an example. Okay, good. Must have been a bit of a delay on the chat box there, but everyone's got it. Examples. Yeah, very good. And then body B. So we're going to state what in body B. So yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, good. Good. Madam Khan, I'll get your name correct. Yeah, good, Clara. And then we'll give what? Yeah, good. And then we'll finish off with our conclusion. So what are we going to do in our conclusion? Frank, yeah, good, very good. So we're going to summarize the causes and the solutions. Yeah, very good. Okay, just before we move on to the next slide, so just have a look. Okay. Right. So let's have a look at our introduction. So we said we need to phrase it. So how can we do that? What can we do to rephrase the introduction? What can we do? So what can we do? Okay, well, let's have a look then. So we're going to paraphrase. We said before, we will give our outline statement. So we'll paraphrase the lead in. Okay. So we can use different words which have the same meaning, so synonyms. We can change the voice. We can change the word form also, okay? Also, we can change the word order. So let's have a look. So large cities. So think of another way you could say that. Uh-huh. Well, not metro, similar, but not. You've got the first half. Yeah, developed. Okay. Let's have a look. So urban centers around the world. So how would you change the next? Oops. Okay. Yeah, good. So we can change the voice. Okay. Well, I put that in there because of my mouse. So due to. So Stephanie is already ahead of me. Traffic. So think of another word for congestion. Yeah, good. Jams. Giovanni. Yeah, good. Good. So don't forget the S. Okay. Jams. So we're going to explain the problem. This is a serious issue because what are we going to put in there? Okay, Clara, good. Yeah. Yeah. Tan, good. Be careful of the S. Okay, mental health. And then we'll give our outline statement here. So this essay will consider, so the main causes of traffic congestion before proposing. So look at those phrases there. This essay will consider and then give our points and then before proposing. 2, so what are we going to put in the gap there? Kritka, yeah, that would work. Jean, yeah, also work. So possible solutions, okay? So just have a look at that. So we've used synonyms there. We've got a couple of nice phrases there. This is a serious issue. This essay will consider, and then before proposing, all right? So nice introduction there. So just take a minute to have a look at it. Well, a few seconds. Okay, let's have a look at our body paragraph A then. So we discussed the causes, so just about everyone came up with similar ideas. So we need to state the cause, okay? So perhaps the most important cause of, yeah, traffic problems, okay? In cities, is public transport, yeah, or lack of public transport. So we know we can use the present tense here because it, you know, in many places it is happening, okay? So let's have a look. We'll explain a cause. So a few, so what do you think we're going to put in the gap there? Yeah, those would work. Quicker, yeah, that would work. Okay, good. So another word we could use is alternatives. Okay. So obviously there's a few words that are going to go into the gap. So we're just giving examples here. As, it is quicker and more. So what are we going to put in the gap there? Tan, yeah. Elton, Frank, yeah, good. So we can say convenient. So let's have a look at the result. So as a result, can you think of another way of saying as a result? Can you think of another way to say that? Well, not quite. Okay, good. Traffic jams occur, particular, unpopular. So what are we going to put at the end there? Quicker, Okay, well, think about a way you go somewhere, okay? We take a certain route, okay? Particular and popular routes, and then we'll give an example, such as main roads, okay? Good. So some of you use different words. It would, I guess, depend on where you live. Yeah, how big the city was as well. So we'll state the cause. So another key factor is, so quite a few mentioned this, uniform working hours across the city. So nice collocation there. And then we'll give an explanation. So the of people start and finish work or school at a similar time. So think what might go in the gap there. Yeah, Clara, Kritka, yeah, Frank, good. Yeah, good. Okay, so the majority of people start and finish work or school at a similar time. And then we'll put a result. This means that roads become extremely at certain times of day. Narimakan, yeah, that would work. Estefany, Kritka, yeah. Moses, yeah, that could work. Chunghei, yeah, that could also work. Yeah, good, Jane. So we've got congested. So let's have a look at an example. So for instance, at in the mornings and evening. So it's a phrase that's often used. Frank, yeah, good, 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 good. So usually we'd say rush hour. You could say peak hours, that would also work. Yeah. Okay. Good. So there we go. Now look at what we've done here. So we've got nice linking words, perhaps the most important cause of, as a result, such as. Another key factor is this means that, for instance. Okay, so we've got a nice range of vocabulary. So let's have a look at the verb forms. So is, start and finish, become, choose, and then have a look at our vocabulary here with few alternatives. So collocations, quicker, more convenient, uniform working hours. So nice collocation, extremely congested. Rush hour also collocation there. Good. I'll just go back to that. So just have a look at it. Rather than quickly rush through, just have a look at it. So see how it's nice and coherent. So a good range of vocabulary there. Okay. So paragraph B. So we talked about investing in public transport and public facilities, changing the times. So we'll start with a topic sentence. Fortunately, now think of a word you would use for a contrast. Often used at the beginning of a paragraph to show contrast. Beginning of a paragraph, sometimes, well, often at the beginning of a sentence as well. So think of a word to show contrast. Bow, yeah, good. Tan, good. Well, so just a single word, however. So we'll have a look at stating the solution. So first of all, local governments. So what could local governments do? Okay, should, ought to. Okay. Stephanie, good. Okay, let's have a look. Should invest more in public transport. Okay, good. And then we'll give an explanation on how it solves the problem. So, what are we going to put in there? You could use it quicker, yeah. That'd be fine. So what's going to go in that gap there? Well, you need to think of possibility. Okay, so would make this option more attractive and reduce the number of cars on the road. So now we need to give an example. So we've got, for example, in my city, the council has created a network of cycle paths, which something people to cycle to work. So what might it do? Well, yeah, that could work, Frank. Could. Think of another word motivates with a similar, Moses, with a similar meaning. Nana McCann. Yeah, good. Frank, good. Okay, Moses, yeah. Which encourage people to cycle to work. So we'll give another solution. So secondly, the city government, now think of possibility. Elton, good. Okay. Yeah, that could work. Frank? Okay, let's have a look. So could. So we'll explain it and how it solves the problem, which Elton, good. Moses, good. Nana McCann, yeah, good. Kritka, yeah. Okay, so further cut down on the number of commuters traveling at particular times. So let's have a look at our linking words. So, however, and then first of all, we've got, for example, so we could, use, for instance, there, we've got secondly. So secondly, could you use another word there? Yeah. Anything else? Uh-huh. Well, think of transitions. Yeah, Bopong, yeah. Yeah, that works. Anita, yeah, very good. That also works. So again, we've got a nice range of vocabulary. Yeah. And then let's have a look, because we're talking about for a solution, so should or could. So, and then the effect of the solution would. So we got modals there. Okay. So very good. So just take a minute to have a look at that. You'll be able to see the full essay once we get to the last slide, but it's good to show you where everything is highlighted. Okay, And then we've got other vocabulary there. Promising solutions, a nice collocation. Make this option more attractive. Psychopaths, so a network of psychopaths, so cut down. And then commuters, so a nice range of vocabulary there. So the key when you're writing is to use the vocabulary accurately. So once you've got a good foundation in writing, it's about reducing the number of minor errors that you make. So to make sure that you're using the vocabulary, accurately. So let's have a look at our conclusion. So we're going to summarize. So we did this in our essay plan. So transition signal. Any other transition signals you can use? Yeah, to conclude. Good. To summarize, yeah. To sum up, yeah. So, yeah, I think in conclusion is one I would probably always use. You can use any of the others. You must make sure that you've always got it. Always use a transition signal though for your conclusion. If it doesn't have if it's not clear that it's your conclusion, then you won't score higher than a 5 for cohesion. So make sure it's on there, okay? So traffic congestion is a serious problem, which is primarily caused by, what are we going to put in the gap there? Anamakan, Clara, Kritya. That would also work out. Nanamakan, yeah. So limited, yeah. Limited public transport options. Along with the shared working schedule of many city. So think of a word you would use to describe people that live in a city. Yeah, could work, Moses. Tan, yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a few other words that would go there. So we've chosen dwellers. So we'll restate the solutions. I recommend that governments, what are we going to put in the gap there? Okay, Nanamakan, yeah. Clara, yeah, good. So address this issue by investing in public transport. What are we going to put at the end there? Bhopal, yeah. Okay, infrastructure. And what are we going to put in there? Yeah. Those work. Good, good. Moses, that would also work. And implementing varied working hours in public facilities. Good. A few options there, guys. So now before I move on to the full, just have a look at that. Again, you've got a good range of vocabulary, which is primarily caused by. I recommend that. Okay, along with okay. So let's have a look. So there's our intro, body 1, body 2, and then we've got our conclusion, and we've got 272 words, and that would be a band 9, okay? Now, just to go over what we've discussed today, make sure that you analyze the question and decide what the question is asking you to do. How many parts does the question have? And then you're going to decide on how you're going to respond to the question, okay? So think of supporting reasons and examples, so part of your plan. So remember, you must have a plan, and then use appropriate linking expressions. So there's a good range in this essay. And then always obviously give yourself enough time at the end to check any grammar or vocabulary errors. So I would recommend at the end, try and have, 3 or 4 minutes so that you can skim through your essay and note any errors that you've made and make corrections if need be. Okay. So that's our problem solution essay for you today. So we'll have a look at some questions in a moment. I'll answer some of your questions. I've just put some links on there. So for some of our premium services, you can have a look at our speaking and writing evaluation service on our website. Okay, so before you take the test, if you want to take a speaking or writing evaluation with one of our experienced teachers or former examiners, then we could do that for you. And sometimes you may have a problem with not knowing why you can't get the score you want. So that might also be a good idea to maybe have a speaking and writing evaluation. So you can find out more about our up and coming webinars on our website, IELTS Online Test, yeah. And we've got listening and reading videos, which you can find under premium services. So they're all explained. And then we've got our YouTube channel, so you can view previous webinars, and we also have our Facebook group. Now, I have actually put these links in the beginning of the chat, so you can scroll down and you can copy and paste. Maybe I can copy and put them in there for you now, just before. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll come and answer your questions about anything in particular you have. So if I copy and paste these, you can copy and paste them somewhere on your computer, and it's going to be easier for you to access them. Okay, so if you have any questions while I do this, just pop them in the Q&A. Okay, and I'll get to them in a second. Just got a couple more to paste. Okay. There we go. All right, one more, I think. Okay, here we go. Pop these in, and you're good to go. Okay. All right. So I'll answer your questions. Now, I did see, Bo Pong, that you had already asked a question. So the question was about taking the test in China. Yeah. So, well, the problem in China, now as a full-time examiner, just before leaving China, I was doing about, well, we do about 100 tests in a week. So quite a lot, but the problem is in China that a lot of students memorize, so they memorize answers for the speaking test. And they also memorize chunks of language for the writing test. So the examiners will know that the student's using memorized phrases. So, you know, I'd be careful of doing that. Yeah. The examiners will catch you out. So, you know, try and avoid using memorized phrases. There's lots of schools that do it. So that means that the examiner is going to hear similar responses all the time. So it's something you need to avoid in writing and in speaking. Anonymous attendee, affect. Hello, anonymous. So affect is usually used as a verb, and affect is usually used as a noun. Okay, so that's the difference. Yeah. To affect a change on something. Okay. Moses, good luck for your test. Moses says, could I write my introduction like this? In many studies, hours of people's time. So you'd say hours people's time is being wasted every day because of traffic congestion. Yeah. Yeah. So hours of people's time are being wasted. Yeah, because we've got a plural form there. Sam, good luck. Your test on Saturday, good luck. So make sure you stay comfortable. Yeah. Okay. Don't panic. Remain calm and confident. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. What else do we have? Is it compulsory to include two causes or two solutions for an essay of this nature? I would say it's a good idea. Yeah. So, you know, it's showing a good range and good organization, Lakshmi. Sorry, who asked that question there? Yeah, Moses. Yeah. So you could do that, no problem. So one is probably not going to be enough, really. You might struggle. Okay. So you want to make sure you've got enough information in there. So, okay. Perhaps, where did that go? So it means possibility, really. Lakshmi, yeah, there's a possibility. Perhaps I can go on Monday. It's possible I can go on Monday. Okay, so possibility. All right. Now let's have a look. Now, Lakshmi asks an interesting question. What if we're not familiar with the given topic? Is there a way to face this? Yeah, it may, Lakshmi, yeah, that's right. So it may or may not happen, basically. So uncertainty, yeah, it could or may not, may or may not. Yeah, Lakshmi, if you're not familiar with the topic, is there a way to face this situation? Well, this comes down to your preparation, really. So what I would suggest, so for example, on our website, we've got lots of examples and we've got lots of topics. So you need to be familiar with certain topics that you're going to get in the IELTS test. Yeah, so some you might have more vocabulary than others. Yeah, so for example, let's say on the environment, you've got lots of vocabulary, but on, let's say, social issues or crime, you don't have a lot of vocabulary. So try and build up the vocabulary that you don't have, okay? It's more about preparation, really. I think the most important thing is give yourself enough time to prepare. Don't rush in to take the test if you don't think you're ready for it, you know. And if you've taken the test a number of times and you've just got the same score, let's say 5.5 or 6, then be realistic. And then maybe, for example, as I mentioned earlier, have a speaking or writing evaluation by someone that can tell you where you're going wrong. And it'll save you money in the long run. Because you don't want to get into the cycle of just taking the test over and over again. I mean, I've had students before that have taken the test 8 or 9 times and they've been given poor advice, or they've not known how they can improve or what's going wrong. Yeah. So, Selma, if you have a look at the links there or on the slide, then you can use our premium services and one of our teachers can assess your writing and give you feedback. Yeah, so they'll make corrections and give you feedback on areas where you need to improve. Okay. Salme again, poor reading. Now, it might sound an obvious answer, but do more reading. But don't just focus on exam preparation. So vary your reading. So what you could do is you could look at newspapers, broadsheet newspapers, yeah. So look at some serious newspapers and read as much as possible. What if you're going to study, read some articles or journals on your major, yeah. So for example, if you're going to study architecture, have a look at some articles on architecture. So mix it up. It's important not just to do test practice because you're going to get bored. So you need to have something you're interested in, otherwise, you know, you'll get bored and you'll lose your concentration. So if you do a mixture of test practice and other reading, then it's going to be much better for you. So mix it up a little bit. Anonymous says, in the speaking test for the yes and no question, how to answer with no answer? Well, it would depend on what the question would be. That examiner might ask you, let's say, for example, in part 3, would you agree or disagree with that? Or would you agree with that? You don't have to agree. No, actually, I would disagree with that because I think that if blah, 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 blah. So you don't always have to agree. Yeah. So it's fine for you to say, well, I'm not so sure I agree. Yeah. Or I don't really agree with that because. So it's more, that's going to happen in part 3 though. Okay. So you're not going to, the examiner's not going to ask you a yes or no question. So in part 1, if your answers are too short, the examiner will ask you why or why not. Okay. Part 3, they might ask you a question if you agree with something or would you disagree with that opinion. Urban centre, acceptable in writing, anonymous. Yeah, no real issue with that. Urban centres. Okay. Tan, look, how much time should I spend on writing the outline? So with the outline, you want to spend maybe 5 minutes. Maybe you're just going to be scribbling notes in the 5 minutes. So remember, if you're doing the written test, then you can scribble on the question sheet. If you're doing the computer-based test, then you will be given some paper to make notes. So maybe 5 minutes. Now, remember, with writing task 2, you've got 240 words. So I estimate that to write, let's just say 300 words physically, to write 300 words is going to take you around between 20 and 22 minutes. Yeah, that's to physically write. So let's say 25, you've got 5 minutes or so to prepare, which leaves you 10 minutes to go and look for any errors. or to review anything. So, you know, you could do that. So maybe 5 minutes. That would be enough. And then let's say it takes you 25 minutes to write, and then it gives you time to edit. So you would be basing it around that. Okay. Frank says, what is better, taking the test on computer or paper? Well, this depends. If you're if you're good at typing, then, you know, take the computer-based test. Then there's no real difference. The test is the same. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's what you're comfortable with. So a lot of people are more comfortable writing because they can do it quicker. If you're just a one-finger typist, then it's going to take you a long time. Okay, so it depends. If you think you can type quick with regards to the writing test, that's fine. The listening and reading are going to be the same. So, you know, it's just that it's on a computer rather than you're in a room. And now some students have said that taking the test on computer is much better than for listening because you've got your own headphones rather than listening in a large classroom full of students where there can be some distractions if there's any noise outside. Yeah, so some people have reported back that, but it's up to you. Lakshmi, if we have no answer for an examiner's question, would it be enough to explain why we don't have an answer? Well, it's better to say something, yeah. So the only thing I would suggest there maybe is, Lakshmi, is you could just say, to be perfectly honest, I haven't had the experience of doing whatever the case may be, but if I were to do that, then I think I would do whatever it is, yeah. Or just make something up, yeah. Just make something up if you have to. It's better to say something than nothing, yeah. So, Tan, my target band is 7. So I did some actual tests on reading and writing, got 615 for both. I'm really nervous. Can you give me some advice? Going to take the test for the first time on Saturday. The only advice I would give is to stay confident. So if you've got a 6.5 for both, you're very close. You're only about 3 or 4 questions away. So, and remember, the listening and reading are weighted differently sometimes. So some listening and reading are more difficult than others. So they can be weighted a little bit differently. But you're very close, so I wouldn't worry too much. Just do your best, yeah, and then see what your results are. Once you've got your results back, then you'll know what to improve on. So it's always difficult to know until you've actually taken the test. So, but you're obviously very close to a 7, so you're only a few questions away. So the thing you have to remember, that being nervous is not going to help you. It's just going to affect your performance. So just try and stay as confident as you can and just do your best. That's all you can do. Okay? Okay, guys. I guess we've pretty much come to the end of today's webinar. I hope you found it useful. And I'll see you soon for the next webinar. And for those of you who are taking the test, either during the week or this weekend, I wish you the best of luck, and please let us know how you get on when you come back to the next webinar. So, bye everyone, bye for now.